What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and I know this is very late coming out with this video, but busy weekend, so I did get to watch the game, but I'm kind of talking about it now a couple days after I saw it. So it's going to be a little bit fuzzy in my mind, but I do remember what happened. I do remember who played and all that stuff. So, first of all, let's just talk about the impact of the result because, a win, I would say it's kind of expected, and we really had to. After the really embarrassing performance against Man City, we had to get a win. We could not draw or lose this game against Palace at home. You have to win that game, especially when you're facing Barcelona on Wednesday. You can't go into the Barcelona game with zero confidence because you've lost or haven't won the past three games. So, with that being said, I will say it's good that we won. I'm glad that we won. However, there still are some concerning things about not necessarily the result, but the performance overall. Because first half, we were dominant. That was the half that I really got to watch a lot of. Second half, I missed a couple pieces, probably about 10, 15 minutes of it. Whenever you add it up overall, because I was driving at the time. But I still did get to see a majority of the second half. And honestly, that is where most of my frustration comes into practice because you look at the Man U game, and similarly, our first half against Man U was fine. It was great. We dominated the game. We played well. Second half, though, for some reason, it slowed down. The tempo for us slowed down. Obviously, I already talked about we started playing more defensive, and that was just exactly what Man U needed. For Palace, we didn't necessarily start playing more defensive, but the tempo again slowed down, and Palace's tempo picked up. And so, because both of those things went hand in hand, all of a sudden Palace hit the post twice. They get a goal late on, have a chance to equalize. That's a problem. We didn't lose, we didn't draw, but our performances still leave something wanting. It leaves me wanting more because I feel like we're dropping off in the second half, and we can't be having that. If we do that against Barcelona, if we drop off in the second half, it's going to be another Barca PSG moment where PSG turned off. Now all of a sudden it's 6-1, and then PSG get knocked out. We could go into the first half of the Barca game, dominate, get a goal. We're up 1-0. Okay, we've got this in the bag. And then all of a sudden we get to the second half, and then we turn off, and then all of a sudden they put two in on us. And now we got a problem. So that is my biggest concern going into the Barca game, is that our performances over the past three games, obviously Man U, Man City weren't good enough. But even against Palace, the second half wasn't good enough. We dropped off. Palace had a majority of possession and the best attempts in the second half. So there's still a problem there. With that being said, as far as individual performances are concerned, I kind of have them separated into like good performances, performances that weren't necessarily anything out of the ordinary. They did their job well, but they didn't really do anything extra. Disappointing for certain people performances, and then just bad performances. And this is mainly for the starting because as far as the subs are concerned, they weren't in for that long. I guess I'll talk about them really fast just because, they were not really utilized. Murata came in for Giroud. I think it was about the 70-something minute. And just really didn't do much, and especially because Giroud came off and actually did a whole lot. It was really disappointing for Murata to come on and just not show much of anything. He actually smacked the flag out of the AR's hand at one point, and I'm just like, you're an idiot. You're going to get sent off. We don't need that from you. We need you to gain confidence back, gain the confidence you had at the beginning of the year, because we need that player back. We need the player that was making great runs in behind, that was laying the ball off, playing quick 1-2s. That's the type of player we need. But right now, it's like he doesn't have confidence. He's lost some of his confidence, and that is starting to play into his emotions as well. And he's starting to do some stupid stuff, and it's really frustrating to see. So, Bakayoko and who's the other one? Pedro came on later for, I think Fabregas. Yeah, Bakayoko came on for Fabregas. Pedro came on for Hazard, and I mean at that point, Palace, it was right after actually Bakayoko came on. They went and scored, and he was part of it. He and Alonso both just let the guy inside way too easily, and then Cahill's not slow enough or not fast enough to catch up to him, and then it's just a ball across. Zappacosta's lost track of his man because he's a horrible player, and then it's just it's a shot. And Courtois maybe should have done a bit better, but that's the thing. Bakayoko comes on and is instantly involved in Palace's goal. It's not good enough. And I realize he's trying to get players like Murata and Bakayoko in who don't have a lot of confidence, who haven't really been playing well. Get them in when we're up 2-0, trying to give them some confidence. But it backfired because Murata came on, didn't do anything, was petulant at the referee. Bakayoko comes on, has a hand in giving up a goal. I just feel like we've got to do something different with them. I don't know what it is. I don't know what needs to happen. But right now, they are just lacking confidence and not playing well. And I feel like we put either of them in right now, it's going to hurt us. Same for David Luiz. You look at him. We put him in right now, it's going to hurt us. So I don't know what to do with that. It's hard to say because it's not like you just bench them for the next several games because then their confidence is just shot. But you can't really play them either because then they give up goals or they don't score anything and then they do stupid stuff. So it's really difficult, and I'm not really sure what to do with players like that. But I guess we'll see going forward how they're going to be involved. Maybe send them out on loan this summer and try to get them at other teams and get them playing well there. Maybe that'll up their confidence. But right now, neither of them are really providing much. As far as individuals for the starting 11, though, three players that I would say had good to great games on Saturday were Giroud, Willian, and Kanté. Giroud didn't get a goal, but my word, he did as much as he could. For some reason, Tompkins was just like, you're not scoring today, and did as much as he could to keep him from scoring. But the one thing that I will say I really did appreciate from him, his hard work. His willingness to try to get on the end of a pass, his willingness to go win the ball back if he lost it. There was one point where I can't remember if it was a bad touch or maybe he didn't move quick enough to get to it, but the ball gets given away and it's around midfield. And then they start passing, and I just watch him just go sprinting back to close down the ball, and he ended up forcing them to turn it over to us. And I'm just like, I don't see Murata do that. I see Murata just drop his head anytime he does something wrong. And it's that kind of mentality. I'm like, I want a striker like that. I want a striker who's willing to just do as much as he can to try to win the ball back if he loses it. So I really appreciated all the hard work he put in, even if he didn't get a goal. Willian, another great performance from him. He's been really tearing it up, and I hope he manages to stay fit through the rest of the season because we're going to need him going forward. He's really stepped up into that role of, creating as much as he can. When Hazard's not getting the job done, he's stepped up to do the job. That's really good to have another player like that. So he's done very well, and the goal well-deserved. And Kanté just doing the same old Kanté stuff, closing down in the midfield, forcing turnovers. Actually, one of the things that kind of gets overlooked is he really helps us on the counterattack because he's very quick, and so he picks up the ball and just gone. So, yeah, all three of them really put on a really great performance. Players that kind of did their job but didn't really stand out are Azpilicueta and Cahill. Both of them, did their job well enough. Cahill has really done well recently to just, do the defensive side of the job and nothing else. And that's what I expect out of him. One of the problems I had with him in the past is he tries to do too much on the ball and, will turn it over or do something stupid and turn it over. But recently he's done a very good job of just keeping it simple. He does defensive duties very well, so he's managed to stick to that. And then, of course, Azpilicueta just always puts in a good, solid, sturdy performance. You never really have any problems out of him, never see something that I'm just like, God, I can't believe he did that. He's probably one of the most consistent defenders in the Premier League. And it's good to have somebody like that on your team who's just consistently going to do their job very well. As far as the disappointing performances, I'll say Christensen, Fabregas, and Hazard. All three of them have been players who have had pretty good seasons. Christensen and Hazard have been great this season. Fabregas has had his moments, and not today, God, I gotta stop doing that. Saturday was another one where Fabregas, it felt like the passes weren't coming off. He wasn't really combining as much as he normally does. I don't know what has been happening with him recently, but it feels like he started to drop off quite a bit in that regard. And pretty much that's the best thing he brought to the field. So whenever you take that away from him, I mean, he still works hard most of the time, but he's not as effective if he's not playing these brilliant through balls and finding great attacking passes. So for Hazard, though, just not really involved. It felt like he was involved at moments, but for the most part, it didn't really feel like he was creating a whole lot. And I know there was that whole thing where he was very upset after the Man City game, and he was frustrated that he was utilized in a position that didn't really help his ability, and he felt like isolated and all that. I totally agree, but at the same time, now in this game, we put you back in a position where you should be playing. It felt like the attitude was still there, like he was frustrated, like he wasn't really happy. And that is a concern. Going into the Barcelona game, we need everybody to be happy. We need them all to be working hard and playing to the best of their abilities. And it felt like Hazard had kind of taken a drop off in this one. So hopefully he can step up again against Barca, but definitely disappointing from him there. And then Christensen, not disappointing in the fact that, he had a bad game. But yeah, he's been making a few mistakes here and there, and he made some more again on Saturday. Some bad passes, a couple moments where he's going into a challenge that he really shouldn't. And I don't know, it's one of those things where he's been such a consistent defender all season, and then that one mistake against Barcelona, and ever since then, he's kind of been iffy. He hasn't really been against Man City and against Man U. It wasn't like he was bad or anything. There was that moment against Man U where he went down with a head injury. Maybe that played into his conscience a little bit, after the mistake against Barcelona, and then that happens against Man U, gives away an equalizer because he went down with a head injury, and maybe that is playing on his mind, something like that. I don't know. But he definitely made quite a few mistakes against Palace, and because he's been so good this year, it's disappointing for him. Defensively, he's still doing the job well enough. It's just not as consistently good as he has been in the past. So hopefully he'll step it up again against Barcelona because we're going to need him to. But yeah, against Palace, it was kind of concerning. And then of the bad performances, we've got Zappacosta and Alonso. I've not really been a fan of Zappacosta recently, and he proved it again on Saturday. Bad passes in the back, bad passes up top, not really providing much on the attack, and then defensively just not involved. There's moments when all of a sudden he has become a striker, and then we lose the ball, and he's not involved. I just don't like whenever you have a player like that who's going to do the attacking side of the job but won't be willing to do the defensive side of it. One of the Christensen mistakes actually came off of a Zappacosta pass that put him under pressure that caused him to make a mistake, and then luckily they hit the post off of it. But yeah, Zappacosta just holds on to it and then plays a pretty bad ball to Christensen, and Christensen has to try to deal with it, makes a mistake, gives it away. And I'm just like, yes, he made a mistake, probably should have just dumped it downfield, but at the same time, Zappacosta is the cause of it because he's the one that's just lingering on the ball and not really doing anything with it. And then when we get up in the attack, one of the things that he was doing at the beginning of his Chelsea career was providing a lot of good attacking crosses and really doing well to get in and try to cut it back. Now he's just dumping the ball into nobody, trying to take shots where he has no angle. What are you providing now? And then Alonso on the other side, it felt like he wasn't involved. It felt like I didn't really see a whole lot of him except whenever we switched the ball to the other side of the field because he's wide open and then he doesn't really do much with it. So it's just frustrating to see that we still got these two wing backs and neither of them are really providing much. I realize it's Palace, they're not as important. We're probably saving Moses for Barcelona in midweek. I get that. But, left wing back, haven't seen Emerson at all. Alonso's still been playing a whole lot. Maybe we'll see Emerson against Barcelona, but it feels like these are our two, Alonso's our best left back option and Zappacosta's still our backup right back option. It's not good enough. They're just not good enough to be playing for us right now. So, still a lot of problems, still a lot of issues. But I don't know. It's frustrating because we're coming off of 2 losses. We get the win, but it's not convincing. Everybody else won. Tottenham won. Liverpool lost, but Man U wins. Even Arsenal gets a convincing win over Watford. It's just kind of like we're sitting here, we barely beat Crystal Palace at home. It's just not good enough, So, yeah, all those frustrations, but looking forward to the midweek. We do have a big game coming up because, Barcelona, second leg, we got to get the win. We got to do it. It's pretty much make or break time for a lot of these players. So really hoping to get the win there. It's not going to be easy, but I think if we go out, if we just play, if we attack them, if we show what we did against them in the first leg, I think we do have a good chance. But it's got to be better than what we saw these last 3 games. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts heading into midweek? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.